that sweep's behind you. Now you have to move on in this critical road trip, and the going doesn't get any easier. Minnesota, arguably one of the hottest teams in baseball after that 13-game win streak. The Tigers for 4. Kind of weird, guys, from a schedule standpoint, seeing the Tigers for the first time this late into the campaign. And then, oh, by the way, you welcome in the Dodgers when you come back home to Progressive Field. So no rest for the weary here, and this offense is really going to have to pick it up in a big way.
Before we move on from Cincinnati, Will Benson, listening to Hammy on the radio, he was basically begging the Guardians pitchers not to give him a breaking ball over the plate. They continue to do that. He continued to hit it out. What do you do, Jensen, when you're pitching in that situation? You got a guy who's hot, who seems to be hitting the ball a ton. What's your strategy in that case, and what should have the Guardians' strategy been with Will Benson?
It honestly, Chris, it felt like he was just so comfortable in the box for the majority of those at bats. And I think I've told you guys a few times where one of the ways to get after a guy who's really locked in is kind of the old Nolan Ryan, like run it up in the kitchen a little bit, or at least throw inside early in the count to let him know you're there to try and gain a little bit of real estate on the other side of the plate. So credit where it's due again, took advantage of mistakes and really in kind of the grand scheme of things, guys, we have seen this Guardians pitching staff and really the starters in general. Boy, they have not been able to keep the ball in the ballpark. And that's going to be a problem here moving forward, knowing the lineups you're going up against.
We also saw a pickoff of Jose Ramirez at second base. It seemed like Tito had some knowledge maybe on the way that he would be kind of cheating and running on that pitch. Did Tito's knowledge of the Guardians bring anything to this series?
It obviously, when we talked last week, guys, I think that was something we illuminated as maybe a subplot where Tito knew up and down, especially the guys that he had managed and had seen for many years up until his final season, that he knows how these guys work. He knows what makes them tick, and that would be an advantage, especially in the moment against Stephen Vogt. But hey, the wily veteran doesn't usually make those kind of mistakes, or at least get caught the way that Jose Ramirez did there. But absolutely, Chris, no question about it. Tito was ready, and there's a lot of fire still in that belly of like, I ain't letting my old organization get the better of me.
Jensen, I wanted to ask you about what you saw out of Slade Ciccone, obviously starting in place for the injured Ben Lively. A couple years ago, I lost my fellow Paisan, Aaron Savali, via trade, but it feels like I gained a new Italian pitcher to put all my cards behind in Slade. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, and I probably, Nick, allow maybe another couple of turns through the rotation to get his sea legs under him and see where the stuff is. A guy that came over from Arizona in that Naylor trade, and a lot of the Arizona brass had felt that the stuff could be there. It was just a matter of putting things together. He's in no better place than under the tutelage of a Carl Willis, our player development system in the organization. So as I've told you guys too, I don't like to kind of evaluate after one start, good, bad, or indifferent. Give him another 3, maybe 4 turns the rotation, and then let's see where it pans out.
One of the bright spots right now, Jensen, for this team has been Daniel Schneeman. Do you think he needs to be getting more at-bats and more regular appearances so that he can grow and develop?
That's the part where, finding the spot that makes the most sense for him from a defensive standpoint, if that is going to be, second base mostly for the foreseeable future, that's great. I mean, we've seen him hit the 2 spot. I had told you guys when Angel Martinez was rolling to start, boy, put him up there with Kwani in front of Jose and get a lot of that speed pressure going. I know there's just being enamored with having Nolan Jones there, in that 2 spot, but put Schneeman back there. I mean, they're both left-handed hitters. Allow him to try and proliferate scoring opportunities. Because as I said, the overall part of this, guys, is this team hasn't been scoring day in and day out. And you may see here or there where they put up a crooked number, but it's been very few and far between thus far here in 2025.
Hey, on the pitching side, one of the things that the organization did here in the last week was bring on Corey Kluber as a special assistant. What kind of things are he going to do with that pitching staff of ours, and what do you expect out of him in that new role?
Yeah, first of all, he's going to have to talk more, for a quiet guy. He's as an instructor. But when he does speak, it kind of reminds me, of Grady Sizemore when G transitioned and Travis Hafner too into these special assignments and special instructor roles.